Hey friends, it's Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson, but you can call me PBJ. And I'm hopping in today because I want to talk to you about quiet quitting. I want to tell you what your people are really asking for. Listen, if you are a manager, if you are a leader, if you are an executive, you need to be listening to this conversation right now. And I would love to hear what you have to say. So, first of all, let me jump in and define quiet quitting. Okay. If you're not aware, friend, where have you been? It's all over the internet, all over social media. But for the sake of our conversation today, I want to define quiet quitting as less engagement, as not going above and beyond. I am going to do what is required of me and nothing more. This is a job, just a job. Give me my paycheck and I'll give you your work. That's quiet quitting. So we are finding this trend, especially since 2021, that employees are no longer making work their life, that they are no longer going above and beyond. Whatever the job description is, employees are doing enough to satisfy what is written and what is required and no more. And the reason why this is an epidemic is because if you are a leader or you've been a leader, you know, in order to serve our clients, customers, students well, in order to accomplish the goal, we need people to be invested. So this is a real problem, but I've got to break it down and I need to come at it from a different perspective. So I'm not here to tell you that your people are lazy because that's not true. I'm not here to tell you that this new generation of employees, listen, I'm not a part of any of that conversation. I need you to know what your people are really asking for. I need you to stop for a minute and recognize who is on your team and what they need from you. And listen, we won't be able to have this whole conversation in one setting. So I'm going to come back and I'll give you more thoughts on quiet quitting. But let's jump right in. So, first of all, let's recognize what we've all been through. And I know I don't have to recount all of the pandemic and everything that we've been through since 2020. But sometimes we don't realize the impact that it's had on us. And friend, I'm going to take you beyond or before the pandemic. When you think about the new generation of professionals that are coming into our companies and organizations and schools and hospitals right now, think about what they've been through in their life. Not just the pandemic, but these are people who had to do active shooter drills in their schools. These are people who grew up with crisis happening all around them. See, I am kind of on the line between Gen X and Millennial. I'm kind of right there in the middle, so I connect with both groups. I can tell you that when I was growing up, if you were in school, you were considered safe. Only people who skipped school were considered to be in danger. If you were in church, you were considered safe. Right, in the last few years, that is no longer true in the United States necessarily. There have been threats in all of the places. The grocery store, come on friends, there have been threats in all of the places that we used to consider safe spaces. So the professionals who are coming into your organization right now, they understand that life is fleeting. They understand and they have experience that says we could be here today and gone tomorrow. So, this idea of work being my everything and me putting everything into work, that is what's going away. Good staff, that's not going away. Good leaders, that's not going away. But this idea that work is everything, our work economy has changed. We've been through too much in this country for work to remain the same. Our work economy has changed and our people have changed. You know, when I was a young professional, or even more recently, there was a time where people would think, oh, okay, well, if somebody leaves, we'll just replace them. How's that going for you now? How's that working out now? It's not as easy to replace somebody. It never was. You could fill the position, but you never get that person back, those same skills, those same experiences, right? But now it's even more difficult to fill your positions with qualified people. And PBJ, don't you talk about burnout? Yes. Absolutely. And a part of our folks being burnt out is how we lead and how we manage. So we have to talk about how we're running our organizations, friends. So in this session today, I want to talk about one aspect of how we can address quiet quitting and what our folks are actually asking for. Let me just say this because I've spoken to a lot of leaders across the country and been in leadership positions and sat at the table. And how many conversations do we have about, well, we can't afford to increase their pay. We can't afford to give salary increases. Well, I mean, part of it is that. That's a part of it, that people need to be compensated a fair wage. Everybody wants to live and be safe and pay their bills and eat. Like everybody wants to be valued, right? But if the only way you show value in your organization is pay, that's why everybody's asking you for more pay, because you haven't communicated value beyond what people are paid. So do people want to be paid fairly? Yes. But is that the only thing they're asking for? No. But as leaders, we get stuck there. We get stuck in what we can't do. We have conversations and meetings and retreats talking about what we can't do and what we don't have access to, that we forget to think about what can be done and the areas that we can make change so that our people feel valued and they feel safe. Listen, people need to feel safe with everything going on in this world, with everything we've been through in recent years. People need to feel safe, physically safe, psychologically safe, financially safe. People need to feel safe. And if you have not created an environment in your organization where people feel safe, they're not going to stay. And if they do stay, they're going to do the bare minimum because they're going to give you back what you're giving to them. They will give back to you what you're giving to them. So, in this first session, I want to talk to you about trust and transparency. People need to feel safe. And I want to tell you that in order for our organizations, our companies, our hospitals, our schools, in order for our institutions to grow and not just grow, be stable, we have to prioritize our people. And our people need to trust us and they need our transparency. Trust will come as we offer transparency. Some people may use vulnerability, whatever word that you choose to use, but the more transparent we can be, the more trust we're going to build. And the more trust we build, the better connections we'll have with our people. And the better connections that you have, the more loyal people will be. We've gone through the last almost 3 years now of the pandemic. And I always say crisis is not a creator, it's a magnifier. It will show you who you already are. And what our employees and our staff have learned is that they are not our priority. Whether it was intentional or not, what people have learned is that they are not our priority. And because of that, they are making decisions for themselves to keep themselves safe and to do what they need to do. So, when we talk about trust and transparency, I see you, Danielle. When we talk about trust and transparency, I'm going to give you a few tips of how you can foster trust and open or offer transparency to your people. And this is coming from 25 years of leading loyal teams, but also sitting at the executive table. First of all, be honest. Be honest. Tell people what you're working with. Tell people what you're dealing with. People can handle anything, but they want to know. They may not like the truth, but they can manage the truth if they know it. Our people know when we're not telling them the truth. They know when we're hiding something. They know when we're holding something back. And listen, I've been at the executive table, so I understand that you can't say everything to everybody, but every opportunity that you have to be honest and direct, not bouncing around and here and there and being passive aggressive, tell people the truth. Tell them the truth. If they have a performance issue, deal with the performance issue. If they've done well, tell them they've done well. If the company or the organization is doing well, tell them we're doing well. If we're struggling, share the struggle. Be honest. When you offer honesty and transparency to your people, it fosters trust and it creates deeper relationships and connections, and people will be loyal when you tell them the truth. When I can't trust you to tell me the truth, I can't trust that I'm safe with you. So we've got to be honest. In being honesty, no more hiding, leaders. No more hiding behind the email or hiding in your corner office or wherever you are when times are bad, especially when times are tough. When times are tough, that's the time for you to come out of your office, go to your people, sit down with them, and talk to them, even when you don't have an answer. Here's what I need you to understand. As human beings, we are storytellers. So that means just naturally, we are storytellers. So when there's a gap in information, I'm going to make up the story of what I think is going on. And most of the time, what I make up is 10 times worse than what's really going on. So even when you don't know, go to people and say, I don't know. Go to them and listen to their struggles, listen to their concerns, and you can be honest and say, you know, I don't have an answer for that today, but we can work through this together. Get out of hiding and go spend time with your people. Show your face. Go listen. I cannot tell you the number of times that we've been in deep crisis and I've seen leaders run away. I've seen leaders hide behind the email, hide behind their office door. Friend, we know you're here. We know you're here and we need to hear from you. So it's time to come out of hiding. No matter what the truth is, people can handle truth if you will face them and share it with them. Ariel, I see you. Thank you. I definitely see you, Lisa. Absolutely. Share things without blaming. Here's the next one. Listen, leaders, listen. Share information without blaming. So I come from the education sector, and I've experienced over the years, and I've seen that we blame up. Right? Well, this isn't good because of the executive cabinet, because of the president, because of the board or whatever. Friend, there are dynamics in play. There are systems, there are politics in any system that you work in. That is true. Instead of blaming up, why don't you teach your people how these systems work? They want to be in leadership one day. They may want to be in your seat one day. And the tragedy of what we do, and I can talk about education because I'm an educator. I know what we do in education is we make you learn the hard way once you get to leadership. Nobody tells you how this works. We don't want to tell the secrets before you get there, but when you get there, you'll figure it out. We have to stop that. We have to stop that. And we have to make sure that we're sharing what's going on without blaming up, because the system is the system. It is what it is, friend. So instead of making somebody feel bitter towards the system, why don't you help them navigate it? Teach them how it works. Well, this kind of decision is made at this level because these factors and these factors and these factors. So the best way that we can have influence or impact here is to do this, 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 and this. Tell the people. I know that there are decisions and things that you don't agree with that as a leader, and sometimes you have to support them, right? You can be honest. And I'm not saying go to your team and say, I didn't like it either. Nobody listened to me. Friend, you're not helping anybody. You're not helping anybody when you bring it that way. You bring it in a way of, let me help you understand how this process worked. Let me help you understand how this conversation goes. Let me help you understand where the power, where the decision making in this lives, and how we can have a positive impact here. Share without blaming. You help nobody when you blame up. You help nobody. You just cause more frustration. When you present that you are powerless, your people feel even less power. They feel even less power. So stop showing up like you don't have power. You may not have all the budget. You may not have all the authority. I got it. But show up like a leader. Show up to give understanding when you don't have the resource. Show up to give strategy when you don't have the answer. Show up as the leader and stop blaming up. We have to be courageous leaders, friends. We are not living in a season where you can be coward in leadership. Not only is it not effective, but we serve people now who will call you out. Respect is earned. It doesn't come with your title. It doesn't come with your promotion. Respect is earned, and people respect you when you respect them. You respect them by telling them the truth. You expect them by being transparent. You expect them by showing your face and showing up and coming out of hiding. And you respect them by helping them understand how the systems work. Be honest with your people. Show up as a leader. Here's the last tip I want to give you today. Leaders go first. If you need your people to show up better, you show up. If you need your leaders, your people to go the extra mile, you go the extra mile. People will do what you do, not what you say. And I cannot tell you, and I know you're busy. I know you have so much on your plate, but you got to shift your priorities because your people are now your first priority. There's no progress before our people. Your people, your staff, your team, they are now your first priority. So with all the things you got going on, you've got to find a way to show up for your people. If you want them to go the extra mile, when do you show up and model for them what going the extra mile looks like? When do they see you do it? When do they see a little bit into your world? When do you step into their world? When do you empower the leader in your people and you find yourself in a position of serving? If you want your people to be engaged, you go first. Leaders go first. All right, I got to get out of here. Listen, I'm going to come back and talk to you more about this quiet quitting. If you're interested, leave a comment. Let me know if this helps you. This is not new. The way that we need to support our people is not new, but now we're forced to do it. I was reading an article, and I'll drop it in the comments, but the Gallup poll, Gallup found that 50% of the U.S. workforce is now not engaged. 50% across career fields now are not engaged. Gallup has found that these are the least engaged employees in about a decade. In the last 10 years. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Crisis is a magnifier. It will show you who you are. And what our people learned in the last 2.5, 3 years is that we did not prioritize them. So now they're not prioritizing you. If you want to shift things, true engagement. I'm not talking about some little cute little survey. I'm not talking about wearing jeans on Friday. Time out for all of that. Your people deserve more. They deserve more. Well, PBJ, what do they need? Ask them. Ask them. And be honest about what's in your authority and what's not. Help them understand how the systems work. People want to be engaged. They do. They want to share their purpose. They want to share their gifts, but they will not be treated like machines. It's over. That day is over. All right, I'm done. We've been here. Dr. Craig, yes, I do speaking engagements. I will drop that link as well. If you want to book absolutely workshops, I do that. So you can go to patricebucknerjackson.com/booking, and we'll take care of that as well. But listen, it's time for us to re-engage our teams and our people. And until we do that, we won't re-engage our organizations. So let's get busy, leaders. All right. You'll have a good day. Talk to you soon. Bye.